Hello, everybody. I'm your resident floating head, Ari, and welcome to FWA Presents Call of Cthulhu. Joining me today, I've got several of our investigators. If you guys would like, feel free to go ahead and introduce yourselves, starting probably with Jackal, because at least with my point of view, you're like right over here on my left-hand side.
That works for me. Hey, everybody, Jackal. I will be playing the character Marlowe, a YouTube sensation, I suppose, who managed to get himself caught in a rather unsavory situation while doing urban exploration.
All right, and Suka, if you would like to go ahead and go next and introduce yourself and your character.
Hi, I am Suka, and I will be playing the part of Maurice, a 55-year-old antiquities dealer from Detroit.
All right, Sable, go ahead.
Hi, I am Sable. I'm going to be playing Carmen Santiago, a animal trainer who tempts for the police.
Legally distinct from the Carmen Sandiego that we all know for money reasons.
Don't say it.
Very legally distinct. Carmen Santiago. It's
Santiago. And Finn, go ahead.
Hi, I'm playing Pepper. She ran into werewolves in the Grand Canyon a few years ago, and now she is a big game hunter and is probably going to lose her mind.
I mean, it's Call of Cthulhu. Losing your mind is part and parcel of what happens here. Yeah. I mean, your DM is a floating head out in space, so you know that's just par for the course. Speaking of the game itself, for those who don't know, Call of Cthulhu is in fact a standard tabletop game that takes place in the Cthulhu mythos, where you run into all sorts of angry deities and beings from beyond the mortal veil. And in this game, called Mall of Madness, you'll be joining in on our investigators, part of the Peachtree Investigators, an ancient society of people who have ruled over the city of Atlanta and have protected its people from all sorts of evil cosmic entities. Our group today will actually be going on their very first mission. So this is not only just an introduction to this universe, but an introduction to just how crazy things can get when you have a sleep-deprived floating head telling you guys what to do.
Sounds about right.
All honestly, I have not slept. I've had like one plate of nachos. So I'm running on minimal manic energy.
At least you're honest about it.
Yes, sleep is for the weak. So to start this all off, we're actually going to, as with most D&D games, at least the fantasy variety, you guys are actually going to meet in a tavern. And in modern day society, especially here in Atlanta, the best tavern to meet in is a Waffle House. It is the one place where anything and everything can happen and nobody will bat an eye. This Waffle House that you guys are actually going to all be meeting in is located somewhere off in a seedier part of town. You can tell generally by the railroad tracks off in the distance, the dusty looking, grimy, old factories off on the side. You can tell just by looking at it that this Waffle House hasn't been well visited, but for some reason still has a 100 grade score. We don't question it. It's Waffle House. You don't come there for the health. You come there for the food. So let us actually roll real fast to see who arrives first. Everybody, let us roll one. Let me see. Everybody, you're actually going to be rolling your dex score. So go ahead and roll for your dex scores real fast.
So we roll a percentile and add our dex?
Yes. So pretty much if you're aiming under your dex, and whoever has under their dex will just go in that order.
So you don't add your dex to it. You just roll percentile.
Yep, just rolling percentile.
Okay.
You roll over our dex.
If you roll over your dex, that means you go dead last.
Oh. A 10 and a 0 is not 10, is it?
A 10 and a 0 is 100.
-60 is my exact dex score.
I may be over my dex.
Just a little bit. All right, so what'd you roll, Jackal?
I got a 66.
All right, Sable, what'd you roll?
I got a 59.
All right, Finn, what'd you roll?
I think I got a 62.
62. All right, so I want to say, if I recall off sheets right, it should go Jackal, Sable, Finn, and Suka for arrivals.
Yay.
So, Jack, if you like, feel free to start us off. Like I said, you essentially got a note in the mail not too long ago, and it was an invitation to, of all things, a Waffle House. It was stamped with a very curious symbol. It looked like this blossoming tree, but underneath it were these writhing mass of roots with eyeballs inside of it. And all that came with it was a set of directions and a set of coordinates. So with those coordinates, you finally arrive and you find yourself standing before this Waffle House.
Okay. Yeah. It's not the Waffle House that he would normally go to. Usually he goes to the one, he's up in Marietta. And so, like, he's having to drive down to Peachtree. He's like, oh, okay, all right. But I guess, that's where we're supposed to go. And so anyone who's already in the Waffle House looks out and sees this Toyota Prius that's been skinned with, like, cute anime girls and, like, blue and purple flames. And it just kind of, like, pulls up, and you can hear, like, EDM kind of thumping in it. And like a surprisingly tall, broad guy comes out and kind of like pops his bomber jacket. It's like, I don't know what this is about, but okay, let's go.
I'm just picturing that right now, and it's freaking hilarious. I'm sorry. So as you get out of your car and you look around, you notice a general decrepitness of the area. And through the window of the Waffle House, you sort of kind of spy some movement going on. It doesn't look busy, but you can tell that there's somebody in there. And while you're doing that, I think there's actually a good time for Sable to show up as well.
At about this time, a beat-up Ford Focus pulls up to the Waffle House. And a middle-aged, relatively rotund woman, definitely not wearing a red trench coat and fedora, probably actually wearing like a red plaid felt shirt and one of those like fisher's vests, but it's full of dog treats instead of fishing stuff. Just kind of look suspiciously around the Waffle House, check the phone, make sure the GPS is right, and kind of shrug and walk on in.
All right. And as you walk in, and I'm going to assume Jackal hasn't walked in yet, but as you walk in, you see that it is shockingly empty for a Waffle House in the middle of nowhere, or for a Waffle House in general. The only person you see there is this tiny little woman working behind the counter. She looks about in her mid-50s, nothing too offstandish about her, but she does see you and she gives you a little wave. It's like, oh, hiya, hon. Why don't you go ahead, pull up a seat, and I'll be right there with you in a few. And she just kind of gives you like this small, knowing smile as she adjusts things around the little seating area by the bar, specifically trying to get a tiny little silver bell, kind of the order bells that you have placed just on the bar, just barely in your sight line. And we can also move on to Finn, if you would like to go ahead and do your introduction.
Right about this time, there's an obnoxious amount of revving up as a Ducati Street Fighter bike kind of cruises up into the parking lot, and a suntanned woman in relatively decent physical shape, with messy, sun-bleached looking blonde hair and this wicked cool looking slash mark scar right down here on her neck, hops off with her motorcycle jacket on and what you suspect is a bulletproof vest and a big old duffel bag. And she makes her way into the Waffle House and kind of starts looking around. Thinks this is a very weird Waffle House.
Just like Sable before, Santiago before you, the little old woman gives you a casual wave, and even though she doesn't know you, or even if you're part of wherever Santiago is headed, she gently directs you towards the same table that she's sitting at. And we can go ahead and do our final introduction with Suka. If you'd like to go ahead and introduce, I believe it was Marlo.
Maurice.
I really am bad at remembering names.
Maurice Steinberg, who obviously talks like Alex Trebek from SNL. Anyway, so you see a Cadillac Escalade pull up in the parking lot, and out of it, a few minutes later, because he has to let the engine cool and everything properly settle, and finish his NPR podcast before he gets out. Then you see the door open and a cane comes out, and an older gentleman with a kind of a grayish brown beard and a bald head and a nice woolen suit and a nice vest and a tie on. He gets out of his Escalade and closes the door, makes sure it double beeps and locks, and makes his way over to the Waffle House. He peers in, he's like, I really shouldn't be at a Waffle House, and pulls a note out of his jacket and makes sure it says what it says, and checks his iPhone to make sure he is where he is and he's supposed to be there. And he opens the door and looks about and approaches the counter and asks the lady, well, is this where I'm supposed to be?
She gives you a coy little smile. It's like, well, honey, everyone is always where they're supposed to be when they're meant to be. Why don't you join over with your friends over there? And she motions over out the window to attract the attention of Marlowe. And why don't you have that gentleman come on in too, so we can go ahead and get y'all fed? And she goes back over to the grill, and you just hear the subtle sizzling of the flat top heating up as she starts cracking open some eggs, laying some slabs of bacon down, even though she hasn't taken anybody's order. And as you guys all get in, and if you would like to go ahead and slide on in, Martha.
Yeah, I was going to say, when the Ducati rumbles up, Marlowe is going to stop trying to fiddle with the voltage on his vape mod, and after blowing some thick chunky clouds, goes, "Whoa, fam! That is the coolest, tightest little bike I've ever seen. Can I get a pic?"
And Pepper's going to stare at you, very confused and slightly angered by the lingo that she does not understand as a 37-year-old woman. And step away from the bike and just be like, yeah, sure. I think that was a compliment.
And so Marlowe proceeds to go through Insta, Twitter, Facebook, onto his YouTube community page, just snapping pictures from the thing, like, and posting them before realizing that he's being gestured in to the Waffle House itself.
Yes. And as you come in, the old woman just glances over at you. Is like, well, that's a mighty fine camera you got there, son. But why don't you just go ahead and sit on down? We're gonna have some bacon on for you, a couple of hash browns, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, before you do, be a dear and grab that for me and bring it over to the table. And she gestures over to the little silver serving bell, just sitting there on the bar for you to pick up and bring over to everybody else.
Okay, Marlowe will be like, all right, cool. And he picks it up and goes, I haven't seen one of these in ages. Ding, 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 ding. And wanders over to the bar, or the table.
Do me a
Pepper's
favor.
going to talk to the lady and say, hey, can I get my hash browns smothered, covered, and chunked?
I need you to actually do me a favor real fast, Marlowe. Can you roll me a dex save real fast?
Absolutely.
No, it's going to be Marlowe rolling the dex save.
Okay.
Because, of course, he
Like,
has to mess with it.
Ring the bell, dude. Shouldn't have rang
That's
the
a
bell.
39.
39, and what's your dex again?
60.
60. Oh, yeah, no, you totally pass this particular check. So as you ring the bell a couple of times, you feel a subtle, almost subtenuous tingle around your skin, and you feel as if the floor underneath you is starting to bubble and shift. And this feeling doesn't just center around you. In fact, everyone else at the table can actually feel that exact same bubbling start to happen. And the world around them starts to pop and fade out with little colory bubbles that just seem to pop into existence ever so often.
Christ, not again.
Not again.
The woman,
Is anybody else seeing this?
No.
The woman looks over at you with a sheepish look. Is like, now, hon, why'd you go and do that? You're supposed to wait until I sat you down. You told me the code. You know what? It is perfectly fine. Just go ahead and don't move. And as she says that, the veneer of the Waffle House slowly starts to melt away. It looks like a dripping oil painting, or if somebody took a hair dryer and put it across a bunch of wax crayons. Reality itself is melting away, and underneath it, you're suddenly beset by these blinding white clinical lights, a row of chairs, and even the bench where you three were sitting on has become nothing more than these hard, stiff plastic chairs with you all facing each other.
I knew that second rate, or that juice I bought online for this thing was no good. Man, whoa, this is trippy though.
It is a bad habit, young
man.
As you all get a bit accustomed to your sudden warping of reality, the old woman actually comes over to you. She's still wearing her standard Waffle House garb, but in place of the plates that she was trying to prepare in order to properly debrief you all, instead she has in her hands 4 separate packets, and she passes them to all of you. Gone is her southern drawl, replaced by this clean, almost severe clinical tone as she says, all right, you all are apparently our new recruits here to the Peachtree Investigators. And she gestures to a small insignia on her lapel. And she goes, well, it seems since one of you decided to take initiative and ruin the big reveal and all that fun stuff, you guys might as well go ahead and get ready. And I'll go ahead and debrief you on the situation. Before we get started, do any of you even know what the Peachtree Investigators are? And she has this like air of haughtiness as if she can't believe that she has to deal with you particular group of people, as if she's almost above you all.
Hey, Game Master, do we know anything?
All you know so far is that you're dealing with, you're currently just in this blank white room with a couple of plastic chairs and this weird old woman after having been in a Waffle House that you all drove to.
So there were no details about the organization on our invitation.
No, there were no details. All it was the invitation and the coordinates to the Waffle House. All right, so as you all get a bit adjusted to the physical shifting of reality, the elderly woman that you all saw when you came into the Waffle House has suddenly become a lot more severe and direct, at least in her approach. Even her eyes look a little bit more steely and dead set as she walks over to you and pretty roughly shoves a rather thick packet into each one of your hands. And she's like, I can't believe you went ahead and rung the bell. This is a complete breach of how we do things here. Do you know anything about the organization that contacted you at all? And yes.
Of course we don't. All you gave us was this invitation that said nothing at all. How would you expect us to know anything? And second of all, you're the one who gave him the bell. What did you think he was going to do?
I said, bring it over to the table. I didn't say, if you can't follow, and she just...
Are you an investigator? Did you not see this young man?
You saw what he did out in the parking lot with my motorcycle, right?
Exactly. What did you expect? Give the man a bell.
The woman looks visibly frustrated, but then she just rubs her temples and goes, it's okay, it's fine, this is junk duty anyway. I got pushed out of the main office, so I'm just been here for so long. Do you know how boring it is to sit in the middle of a Waffle House nobody shows up to? It's maddening. So just, as she composes herself and she looks...
Why does no one show up?
Why would no one come to a Waffle House?
Yeah, Waffle House is the best, man.
You have 100 rating.
She gives you all a level glare and is like, just sit down so I can debrief you and I can go back to
we are sitting.
A better job.
And take your bell. And he, like, offers her the bell back.
She snatches a bell and she puts it in the front apron of her front pocket of her apron, and she resets herself and breathes pretty deeply and goes, okay, so seeing as the people up in corporate fail to provide you with any sort of information, I swear I hate secrecy and secret organizations. You all have been chosen to be our brand new candidates here at the Peachtree Investigators. And she gestures over to the lapel with an air of superiority. And on it, you can see a little peach tree with blossoming fruit. But underneath it looks like a mass of writhing tentacles that are the roots of the tree. And intermingled with those are eyes. Go ahead.
was going to say that looks somewhat familiar.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think I remember one time in my antique shop, I think we had a coin that had that symbology on it. Never figured out what it was.
she gives you a little smile. It's like, well, at least one of you has some form of formal knowledge. We are the organization that has protected Atlanta and the world at large from all sorts of massive intergalactic threats and various evil deities. Do you not remember what happened on January 1st of 2015? Of course you don't. We were there to stop it. And that's what you all are here to do today. Consider this your initiation of sorts.
Where were you at the Olympic Park bombing then?
She doesn't quite answer. Matter of fact, I want you to do me a favor. On that one, give me I'm trying to see, which one was my charisma? I want a charisma check.
Hold on a second. We don't have charisma.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking. I'm trying to see what I'm going to use for it. You know what? Make that an appearance check. So I want you to. Yeah, it's as close as I have to.
Oh, app. Okay.
Yeah.
Would this be a point where I might use my fast talking skill? Or is
You know
this
what?
straight up appearance?
I will let you add in your fast talking skill as well. That is perfectly fine.
Okay, cool. So I roll percentile and add fast talk.
Yes.
No, I don't add fast talk.
You add it to your overall
appearance that I'm rolling under.
Yes.
Getting it. All right. So yeah, I'm good. I rolled a 63. My appearance is 70 plus a 75 fast talk. So I believe that would fall under the most excellent order of success.
That definitely falls underneath a success. So as you say your question about the bombing, she kind of looks askance and goes, look, that was an entire incident where we really weren't in control. There were things that went above our call, and let's just say we're still paying for the fallout of that one. And she doesn't give you too much more information, but you can tell there is a larger story at play with that one. Regardless, she recomposes herself and goes, if you feel free, look through your packets and you see that today we're actually going to have you guys pulling off a little bit of an investigation. And she too pulls out her packet and she's leafing through it, not really paying too much attention to you guys. And she goes, at 0800 hours, answer.
Before we go any further, so that was a no on the hash browns?
She stops and looks at you and is like, no hash browns. Your friend over there ruined that for you when he decided to ring the bell. There are no hash browns. There are no waffles. There's just now work and pain.
Speaking of,
I would like to take this moment to glare at Marlowe.
Marlowe does not notice this at all. He's too busy kind of like staring at the little dossier packet that's been slapped in front of him instead of a delicious plate of bacon, eggs, and hash browns. And he's kind of like staring at it, and he says, well, oh, okay, hold on. Wait. I know this, I think. I wanted to go ahead and roll that history check to see if Marlowe remembers seeing them when he was doing his urban spelunking.
Go ahead. I will allow that.
All right, so my history is 20. I'd combine that with intelligence,
you want to combine that with your intelligence score.
47 with 20 and my intelligence 70, 90. I'm guessing I make that.
Actually, no, you do, because you're adding your intelligence score with your history check. And you said you rolled a what again?
47.
47. So yeah, that would put you under the 90 you would have otherwise. Because I still have your sheet currently up. So, but yeah, no, that puts you well under. And yeah, you actually do pass that particular check.
Awesome. Marlowe's like his demeanor seems to change, and he's now very like shaky, and he's like, okay, all right, hold on. I thought this was like an escape room thing. Like I get like all this mail and like invitations and stuff to all these different events. I thought maybe there's like some kind of like weird escape. No, I remember you guys when I was over at a Central State Hospital. I was doing a video and there was something. There was something. You guys came in and you can't send me out against something like no.
She holds up a hand to hold you back. It's like, calm down, son. I know the event you're speaking of, and we do apologize to the best of our ability, but there are greater things at play other than what happened before. If you do recognize us, that's good. That means you'll have a leg up with whatever we decide to throw you into. And she gestures back to the paper. And considering where we're sitting,
I make videos. I'm just a stupid internet guy. I don't know what this. Wait, no.
You're a stupid internet guy that hit the bell. You're here. Yes.
What did you say your name was, ma'am?
She looks at you. She's like, my name is Jade, and if we could please move on to the packet.
Well, that's what I'm asking about. I think you may have handed me the wrong paperwork. It's just that, I mean, this says, for consideration herein acknowledged and received, blah, 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 my likeness, content, something, something, model release. Is that what you meant to give me?
She looks at you and she delicately takes the paper and looks over it and rifles through it before giving it back to you. You know what? You hold on to that. The point is that I'm sending you all out to the mall. We have a situation. And she goes back over to the packet. At 0800 hours, we've received several concerning calls from our police units that we have out there about various missing persons inside of the mall. Normally, we don't pay too much attention. It's a mall. Nobody really cares, but it's the severity and frequency of these missing persons. It might be nothing. It might be something major. The point is, we would like you guys to go in there, investigate, find out if there's anything interesting, collect any materials that seem out of the ordinary or dangerous, report back to us, and that's it. Quick, simple, easy, and then you guys can be fully introduced to the breadth of our organization instead of my tiny little corner of reality.
Pepper kind of like is really rude because she noticed that the old smarty guy was like holding his hand up to talk, but she doesn't understand why we're doing this. She's so. But which mall are we talking about here? Are we talking about North Point Mall? Are we talking about Mall of Georgia? Like, I might not have enough ammo depending on what mall we're going to.
You all will be going to Mall of Georgia.
At least it isn't the mall they filmed Stranger Things in.
Oh, yeah, no, that was actually all a cover-up. It's a funny story. Those monsters were real, but hey, we got to pay the bills around here somewhere, so why not profit off it and send it to Netflix? She gives you all just
Good
a
idea.
Small little smirk, and she
Fair
goes,
enough.
Regardless, we already have transportation ready for you all. All you have to do is go there, do some light investigation, figure out what's up, maybe save a few lives, and then I can go back to pretending to serve waffles to people that don't exist and hopefully be allowed back in the main level of the organization.
Do we get paid for this?
Paid? Yes. Good question. Paid is good.
Paid is good. Being alive is a lot better.
I could go home and be alive.
Oh, whoa. Hey, wait a minute. What's going to happen to my bike? She's kind of looking around. Where's my bike?
We'll make sure that your bike will be well taken care of. Do not worry. It's still perfectly safe outside of the parking lot in the middle of nowhere in Atlanta. What is the worst possible thing that could happen?
You could
I'm
stole
never
it.
going to see my bike again.
She gives you a small little smile. It's like, yeah, probably not, but that's beside the point.
Oh, okay. No, if you're sending me anywhere, I need my bag. My bag's in my car. It's in my baby. I need to get my bag. It's in my Miku.
What is in your bag that is so important, sir?
I mean, it's my life. It's got my cameras. It's got my lights. It's got my microphones. It's got like my light finder. Oh my God. It's got my stands.
So you're going to a mall to possibly investigate magical goings on, not put on a YouTube watch original or whatever it is that young people do these days with your
Well, I mean, if you called him here, you clearly thought he would need all that stuff, right? I mean...
Oh no, I don't go anywhere without my kit. I need my kit. That's my. It's like I need it attached to my hip.
I do believe you did go somewhere without your kit. Oh, there now.
It was outside. It was outside. We just walked into a Waffle House, man.
I brought my satchel with me. I came prepared. I've got my cane, I've got my satchel, and I've got my, artifact.
I brought my duffel bag. And she kind of glances down.
That's a big bag.
Yes, it is.
It looks very heavy.
Yes, it is.
It looks like
Everyone
it
else
holds a
came
lot of
prepared.
things.
Oh, it does.
And you brought nothing. You left your kit in your car.
Come on, man. I even brought my
Don't remind
backpack.
me, man. Oh, man.
So the woman looks at this complete roasting of you and just sighs. It's like, oh, fine. And she rings the bell once, and
Ooh,
while the rest of the restaurant doesn't fizzle into reality, the entrance to the Waffle House fizzles out, and you can see your car
Christ.
just past that doorway. And she goes, okay, look, if it'll get you guys out of here and onto the mission, grab your bag and then follow me, and we'll get you guys ready to go. And she gestures to the door, looking just completely emotionally spent and just tired.
As we, I guess we're departing now, right? Is that right?
So he's going to go get his bag, and
Uh-huh.
she's going to direct the rest of you all further down the seeming endless white void past the chairs.
So as we start heading into the void, I gently go over to her and I whisper, like, do any of your toasters talk to you?
She looks over at you and is like, no, but my waffle iron does. Very
Interesting.
interesting things to say. Not a fan of chocolate chip waffles. Says they get all up in his mechanisms. It's really weird. Honestly, he's the only friend I have here. No one else shows up. It's very lonely.
I study bizarre antiquities. I'll have to get with you after the mission.
If you survive the mission. I mean, if you are introduced into the organization, she quickly corrects herself.
If there's a color out of space involved, I'm sure it'll eat that young man first.
So as you all walk away, Marlowe, of course, I'm guessing heads outside to pick up his bag from his car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Marlo, as soon as that door opens up, he's like, "Oh my god, thank you so much. Like, I just needed my stuff. Yeah, I'll be right back. I promise, I'll be right back." And he like just kind of scrabbles up off the table and rushes outside. And you see him like walking around the passenger side towards the trunk. And then as soon as he starts to get to the trunk, he like immediately like kind of like goes into a double sprint like towards the front of the door. Hits the little button to open it up, pushes the push to start, and like just floors it backwards, just tires squealing as he's trying to pull out of the parking lot here.
As you do that, the old woman hears the start of the car, whips her head around and pulls out the bell and slams on it rather heavily 3 times in a row. The chime echoes throughout the endless void, and as you pull backwards, you find yourself pulling backwards, not towards the restaurant itself, but your car finds itself pulling backwards inside of the white void. And as it comes to a stop, the old woman is looking at you, holding the bell. It's like, now, if we got you here by folding reality, what made you think you'd be able to escape?
Pepper's gonna go to your car window and like start tapping on the window. Hey, guess what? That didn't work.
Marlowe's gonna roll the window down. The car is still kind of like idling. Like, no.
I yell out, young man, that looked rather embarrassing. Isn't that the kind of thing that gets you a lot of likes on your YouTube? You should post that.
Too bad we weren't filming.
Oh man, we should have filmed that.
And it's like, well, if you had your bag in the first place, like everybody else, we wouldn't be in this situation now, would we?
I reach in my jacket and start carefully unfolding an old medium format foldable camera. Yeah, see.
Okay, even Pepper's like, "The is that?"
Springs here.
The old woman
And
just
dial
looks
the aperture.
over at you doing this and it's like, okay,
Smile!
The moment you take
Does it have the little like saltpeter flash?
No, I don't have a flash on.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. So Marlowe is just like kind of like sullenly like gets out of the car, leaves it running, and like goes around to the trunk and beep beep. Even though this little beeper sounds sad as it opens up. And no, actually, he's got it custom made. So as it opens up, it goes, "Aya," and pulls out the duffel
God,
bag.
So
I hate it.
oh god.
Barbara kind of looks over at the other lady. Carmen, right? Yeah, I'm going to kill him by the time this is over.
Yeah, probably me too.
I think that's my cue to turn off my hearing aids.
It's like, you know what? I might honestly join you two in this murder endeavor. Son, are you ready to go now?
I don't have any other choice, which it doesn't seem like I do.
Oh god. I've dealt with actual demonic children less troublesome than you. She hits
So
the
you never
bell.
answered, but we're getting paid, right?
She looks over at you as she hits the bell, and the car folds away in the same way reality did. And she goes,
Miku!
"You'll be paid." And that's all she says. She doesn't elaborate. She just says, "You'll be paid," and keeps on walking, expecting you all to follow her down this endless void, which seems to stretch on forever. Even though the chairs that you all saw and the doorway back out keeps on receding the longer that you guys walk.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually,
That's a handy trick. Can't you just open a door to the next place you want to be?
she looks at you as she continues to hold the bell in her hand, and she goes, "Yeah, we can," and that's exactly what we're doing. You can't necessarily fold physical space like that. You still have to travel some level of distance in the space between the spaces. It's very technical, and I don't have the time to explain. All you need to know is that follow me, and you'll survive. She quickly corrects herself before she dings the bell 4 times, and another door materializes before you all. This one, much like the door into the Waffle House, is completely made out of glass. And just beyond that, you see the parking lot for the Mall of Georgia, with the mall itself looming out in the background. She looks over at you now. I assume you all have some form of weaponry and or items or objects that you brought with you in your bags other than cameras. She looks directly at Marlowe with a kind of withering look.
The instant that weapons are mentioned, Pepper puts her duffel bag down on the ground, unzips the zipper, and just starts casually pulling a semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun out and like loading a few shells into it and putting her survival knife in its little spot on her belt and just, yeah, they're getting ready. She's good.
She's good. She could tell. The woman actually has a look of respect. It's like, I can appreciate that. And she gives you this little signet, the exact same type that she was wearing with a Peachtree on it. And she says, well, just place this anywhere on your person. And as long as you're wearing it, anything out of the ordinary, weapons or what have you, will be concealed from normal view. We can't have you starting a panic, walking into, is that a semi-automatic? Who? What? How do you have all? Why do you have? You know what? I'm not even mad. That is respect. I can agree with that.
Well, if we need it, I also have this. And she kind of reaches in and pulls up a 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle. And like not all the way out of the bag, but just a little bit out of the bag, and then puts it back and zips it up. Pulls her duffel bag up around her shoulders with a shotgun just casually strapped to her. She's like, okay, I'm good.
And here I thought I was carrying too much with 2 pistols and a machete.
Dear Lord, all I have is a revolver.
Marlowe reaches into his bag and pulls out a flare gun. I've got this.
I have one of those too.
It's like, oh, so that means you're just useful for taking pictures and letting everybody else in the mall know that there's a trouble. You'll do just fine.
He's the distraction.
She gives you all a thumbs up, and the door outside of the void opens up, and she gestures out towards the mall. She's like, just be as discreet as possible and make sure that if you come across any artifacts, any items of power, anything at all that looks dangerous,
I
for the
will
love of
sell
God,
them.
no, don't sell them. And she looks you with like this very pointed glare. It's like, no, we do not sell, we do not put back out into the mortal realm that we cannot contain. You are to hold on to it and ensure it makes it back here for proper cataloging. And she just has this like stern, no nonsense.
You're not going to
look
dip it
about
in blue goo or anything, are you? I hate it when people dip the cursed things in the blue goo.
She just composes herself and just
Why
goes,
blue?
go. She just points as like, go. Just like I said, subtlety is key. We've been hidden in Atlanta for centuries. Let's keep it that way for as long as possible. And she takes her bell and she begins to walk off into the void. And you hear the chime ring another 4 times, and then she vanishes from view.
We didn't ask how to call her back, did we?
Yeah, I was just thinking the exact same thing.
I mean, are we supposed to Uber back to the Waffle House in the middle of nowhere?
They better be paying for it because that is not a cheap ride.
That is not a cheap
Purpose.
ride.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Pepper, so the blue goo, when you drop the evil things in blue goo, the evil goes away. But blue goo is very hard to come by.
Good to know. Good to know.
I do know a warehouse where you can buy some, though.
We'll talk later. I guess let's go shopping. Yay! And she like prances off sarcastically towards the mall.
I'm sorry,
Well, we'll see if that charm works on her in a moment. Let's see if security jumps on the girl with a Barrett rifle.
Oh, she absolutely puts the pin on, by the way. And the rifle's in the duffel bag, okay? She's got the shotgun.
Yes. An exuberant young lady bouncing into the mall with a giant duffel bag isn't suspicious at all.
Nor with the shotgun slung across your back. No one would find that suspicious.
Where's my packet?
Oh, joy.
Yeah, what was in my packet?
So if you guys look, you still do have the packets. Would you guys actually like to look and check the packets?
Yeah, aside from
Yes.
the auto release for this
Yeah,
episode, what's
definitely.
in there?
So as you flip through the packets, you actually see essentially some of the same details that she tried to tell you guys about the mall and how there have been mysterious disappearances, but this actually goes a little bit more in depth. You find out that for the past month and a half, people who have actually been going into the mall haven't necessarily come back out.
How's
It's
that
been-
strange for a mall?
Well, in the sense that they've been trapped in there for about a month and a half, and no one has any idea what's going on. For the most
Yeah,
part,
sounds like a mall.
Sounds like
it sounds like a mall in the 90s, maybe. Not in the
Was it
2021.
Black Friday? People disappear on Black Friday.
Hey, actually, while we're here, do y'all mind if I swing in a hot topic?
Hot Topic went out of business in 2001.
No, it didn't. You
It went out of style in 2001.
There you go.
ouch.
It went out of style when it opened.
Do they have an arcade?
Actually, I
Arcade.
think Mall of Georgia.
I think Mall of Georgia does have an arcade.
If I recall, they have an arcade.
Yeah.
They've got
Maybe
some
Marlo could
funny
get
looking
some,
rides for
some
$2
target
if
practice
you
in.
want to ride them. Yeah,
Oh,
get on
God.
this caterpillar. I'll take your picture.
I love this. So as you guys look through the packet, like I said, you see information about some of the people that have been disappearing, as well as a couple of the transcripts from some of the police reports from the family members of these people that have gone missing. And from the likes of it, you see that no matter how hard they try, they get into the mall. And while they're able to get out, they can't seem to find the people that they love and care for. It's like they've vanished. But for all intents and purposes, from what the police have explored, nothing looks out of the ordinary. It looks like your average everyday mall. And that's what you guys essentially walk into.
Do
Once
we have any
you-
profiles of the specific people who've gone missing?
You don't have any profiles. All you really have are just vague descriptions.
Oh, that
If you
seems
would.
informative.
If you would like, I am scrolling down.
I've got dice. I
You
can
got
roll
dice?
them. Yes. Oh,
We
Sorry.
all have dice.
well, there goes the squeaky toy sound.
So much dice.
I forgot about the squeaky toy sound. So
I
For
roll
the most
dice
part.
and I know things.
you do note that, actually, yeah, you know what? Do me a favor. give me and you're all welcome to actually do this check real fast. Give me a
History.
Actually, no, this isn't going to be a history check. This is going to be. I'm trying
Arts
to
and
see.
crafts.
Was there a check for luck? I don't think there.
Yeah, there is. It's what do you mean? There's like spot hidden?
So yeah, there's spot hidden. I was looking specifically for something like actually like if you notice something. Actually, no, spot hidden would check. So everybody give me a spot hidden roll real fast.
And what characteristic is that if we have nothing in it?
Just going to be the flat 20% that you see right beside it. 25%.
Oh. Right there. Doesn't add to a characteristic or anything. It's just
no, not for this particular roll. And I'm going to actually roll something.
Okay.
Fast.
Marlowe got a 6.
Right.
36, which is under my 40, so I think that means I pass.
You pass. What'd you get, Faith?
I got 41, so I did not pass.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I did not pass. I got 61. There we go.
And what'd you say you got, Marlowe?
Marlowe got a 6. I got double zeros and a 6.
That is definitely underneath it. So while you two don't actually notice this in the report, Santiago and I was about to say Marlowe because I know we'll be getting Maurice. That I remember. You and Pepper and Marlowe, you do pick up that on one of the pages is a short description of this girl that went missing inside of the mall. The paper is a bit vague on age. It says somewhere between 12 and 14 years old. She is a brunette with green eyes, slightly askew glasses, and she was last seen wearing a very simple, plain black t-shirt and some ripped up jeans. And it says that she went missing actually at the earliest time, and about
near the hot topic.
We don't have a location just yet.
No, she would have been at like the Forever 21, I think.
That is a bit closer.
Maybe she fell
also,
into the gap.
Yes, the portal is in the gap. It is literally a gap in between worlds.
Also, we can
Bed Bath and
since I do have it
Beyond.
on the sheet, we can call Marlowe Marty.
Okay, gotcha. That's actually going to help
That'll help.
My brain is like Marlowe and Maurice, and my brain's like, I got to keep that in mind. But
it wasn't intentional, but it should have been.
It's funny.
Let's all choose names really close to each other to screw with the GM.
So that's the only real person description that you see on the police reports. Beyond that, it's really just vague transcripts about people going missing. And while it does seem a bit odd, nothing out of it jumps out. It's like, oh, this is monsters and stuff. So for all intents and purposes, as far as you guys know, you're really just trying to see if some people got lost in the mall or if they just ended up with jobs there and like, hey, I enjoy the mall life. I'm never going to leave.
And sleep there.
And sleep there.
And eat
like
there. And date there.
I mean, to be fair, the food court at Mall of Georgia is pretty decent.
It really is. That's why I like it.
I'm pretty sure the Macy's has beds.
Where are you going to take a shower?
Both have beds. Well, Sears used to have beds, and then they went out of business. So,
yep. Now they're permanently sleeping. But yes. So if you guys would like, feel free, and we go ahead and intrude into the mall.
Yes, let's split up.
Would you guys actually like to split the party?
No, that's a terrible idea.
Exactly.
Carmen, why don't you go over there? Just you. We'll stay together. Carmen, you can go somewhere else.
No.
I'll find you.
No, I think that's a bad idea.
So as you guys enter into the mall, the very first thing that you guys all notice, it's impossible to avoid, is the nice, sweet, sumptuous smell of freshly baked pretzels. It's the very first thing that hits you.
I reach in my suit and grab a Tums and eat it.
Beyond that, it looks like business as usual. The mall itself, it looks like the Mall of Georgia. Nothing looks out of the ordinary. There are a few people milling about, walking around. From a very casual glance, nothing seems out of the ordinary.
Is everybody social distancing and wearing their masks properly?
Yes,
Can we
because
say this is like no coronavirus? Please.
this takes place in an alternate world where we don't have to deal with
An
real
alternate
life
world where,
monsters.
where
So why are they
instead of
wearing all these
COVID-19, we got
masks?
literal cosmic horrors.
Look, I will take cosmic horrors over everything that happened for the past 2 years.
Have
For
you
the
read
love of-
HP?
No, I'll take that. I'll take that. Yeah,
No.
100%.
Yeah.
No.
No, my sanity's
anybody
already
notice the
down in the
shotgun?
gutter. It's fine.
So
The
nobody,
Sanity's gone.
so nobody actually notices the shotgun. In fact, some of the people that do mill about, they're just like, oh, okay. Like part of them sees something, but then it just quickly gets ignored. Like the same way when you think you see somebody, but you really have really bad social anxiety, so you don't say anything. It's that type of look. It's like, and they go about their day. So yeah, like I said, for the most part,
I think first thing that Marlowe would do is go and take a look at the navigate, like the map.
Mhm.
I don't think Marlowe's actually been to the Mall of Georgia, at least not in the backstory I'm currently processing for him in my head. So he's like, all right, so we're looking for this. One of the people is a young girl, so I'm like, yeah, we can take a look and see if anyone saw her around like the Forever 21. Like maybe if they got a Claire's or something here. And so he's going
Yeah, I was going to say Claire.
Oh, sorry. So you're going to go around and ask if anybody's seen a young lady with a black shirt and torn up jeans. And I look around me and instantly spot like 40 teenagers with black
yeah,
shirts.
what do you think we should do?
and torn up jeans. Not that.
as you look around at the map, would you guys like to join in this affair?
Yeah.
Looking at the map,
Let's
Yes.
do it.
Looking at the map,
I'm not
coming
so
up with
ridiculous.
a plan.
No.
Because so
Actually,
far,
I'm all
they're
good.
looking at the map. I'd like to throw a coin into the fountain for good luck.
okay. Well, if you're looking for the fountain, and you can actually be able to see this on the map, it's actually a little bit more angled towards
She's
the food
not.
court.
She's not looking at the map.
Oh, that's right, you're not looking at the map.
I assumed that we were right next to a fountain because there's a fountain everywhere.
Shockingly, I don't think Mall of Georgia has a fountain, but this version of
Not
Mall of Georgia
inside,
does.
It's
out.
right.
outside.
Oh, they have water fountains though. You can
Just
toss a
throw-
coin
Just
in
toss
a
a
water
penny in
fountain
there.
or a toilet. You want to toss a coin in a toilet?
Toss a coin to your wrist.
If the plumbing's bad enough, it can be a fountain.
It could.
It could be a fountain.
Well, anything's a
Wow.
fountain if you try hard enough. But yes,
This
Or
is-
if you have an M80.
on the
Excuse
map,
me,
you see
is this a
the-
fantasy flight game? Can we flip a pip and have a fountain here, please?
Oh god. So
No,
on the map,
just throw a coin on the merry-go-round. It's just the same.
Perhaps this portal that secretly exists in the mall is between RPG scenarios.
as you guys are standing there looking around, give me another spot hidden check real fast. And this is actually going to tie into what you did earlier.
See how
Maurice.
badly I can fail this one. Oh yeah.
I actually.
I'd also like to. I'd like to go ahead and do like a navigate check, just so
Okay.
that Marla knows like the layout of the mall.
All right, go ahead. And we'll resolve for the spot hidden check first. And yes, Sable. I don't know where I'm pointing. Like you can see where I'm pointing.
I actually succeeded. I got a 21.
Oh, okay.